We here to talk about it, yes, we about to talk about it. Grandma Polly's here, by golly, get the conversation started. In our community, come through, have a chat with me. Laugh, talk, grow, work together, yep, and then we'll see. Spend a little time, I'll be with the beer, carry tie truck, the gal be me. Warrior for my community. Sit on down, let's have a chat, you see.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. And welcome to Chat It Up with Grandma Polly. First, allow me to apologize. We were supposed to go live yesterday at 7 p.m., but we had some unfortunate things that was going on. And we decided to come on this evening because we have some important information that we would like to share with you guys. As most of you know, we are working on the Florence Williams project, and we have made some great progress since August of last year. Steve and I have been working on this for almost a year now, and we're happy to be here to share this information with you guys. And we're going to welcome Mr. Steve Williams as we open up, and he's going to share some information with you about Florence Williams.
Hello, everyone, and we do apologize for the technical issues and blame that on me. But as Renee said, I am really, really happy with the progress that we're making, and there are more and more people every day that are helping us, and they're very excited about it. Since we last talked, we did get our website up and our GoFundMe, and of course, there's always Zelle and Cash App. And a lot of the people have been approaching me and asking me about when, where, what, and how. And I'm happy to answer that. Since we last talked, I have put together a little booklet that I have mailed out to a few people and will continue to mail out more. Tonight, we're going to talk about the story of her through this booklet. But in back of the booklet, now it's not the souvenir journal, not yet, or the commemorative book. It is a booklet to introduce Florence Williams to those who may not know her or know enough of her. And at the end, there's a couple of pages that Renee developed for sponsorship, and there are various levels of that. And she will be talking about that. But in the book, we start with who was Florence Williams and what did she do? I don't know if you can see it on screen, but I'll read it. Once upon a time, the city of Georgetown, South Carolina, did not have a hospital. This was during the Great Depression, the time where many people could not find work, could not find food, and could not find medical care. Florence Williams was a young nurse working in a hospital, and soon after her hospital closed, this was around 1925, Florence had a dream. And in her dream, there was someone who says that she describes as the shadow man. And the shadow man said to her, there's a great work for you to do, but you cannot do it unless I help you. But if I help you, it will get done. Florence never shared that dream with anyone or herself. She kept it to herself. But soon afterwards, very quickly afterwards, she ran into a famous doctor who was famous for working with the black population of Georgetown, South Carolina. His name was Dr. Bell. And Dr. Bell said to Florence, I have a little colored boy who is suffering from an illness called lockjaw. Florence, you are a great nurse, and I know if you take care of the boy, he will get better. Florence agreed to take care of him in her large, rambling house. Well, the boy got better quickly. And that is the beginning. Florence knew that this is what God wanted her to do because she had just lost her job. But she realized from the dream that there was a great work for her to do. And she wanted to use her house, as Renee calls it, a house of healing. Well, little did we know that that house of healing started with one bed and one little boy. But within certainly 15 or 20 years, it had grown to 25 beds, 2 maternity wards, an operation room, and a training room to train young black nurses who wanted to go into the nursing field, and they did. Now, you have to keep in mind that this was during segregation, where it was very much illegal for black to mingle or even touch each other. But because this was a vision from God, Florence Williams decided that she would help anybody that needed medical care. And she never turned anyone away, regardless of their ability to pay. And that's exactly what happened during that period between 1926, literally 100 years ago, and 1954. Florence Williams Hospital was the only hospital in the city of Georgetown, South Carolina. The nearest other hospitals were at least 60 to 80 miles away in Charleston and also Florence. Now, from the pictures, you can see that she helped the poor blacks and poor whites without any distinction between their race, their religion, their ethnicity, or their ability to pay. Not only that, she helped a group of workers who literally built the parks, the streets, and all of the things that we now know today as the Grand Strand of South Carolina. That is from Georgetown all the way up to the North Carolina line. And these people were called the CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps. Now, again, we have to understand this is during the Great Depression. President Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, put these quasi military men to work between the ages of 18 and 25. And what I also like about it is Florence ran into difficulty because she got support from a couple of local churches. Bethel AME Church supplied canned goods, and a Methodist church, Duncan Memorial Methodist Church, supplied vegetables. But Florence said, Lord, I'm doing what you asked me to do, but I'm drowning in debt. And God answered her prayers and her pleas by these churches helping. But more importantly, he answered her prayers with people who could afford to pay, and they did. And she received help from two very important, hello, two very important millionaires. Ann Huntington, most of you will know, or you've heard of Brook Green Gardens. That's Ann Huntington and her husband, Arthur Huntington, who helped keep the Florence Williams Hospital afloat. And then there's Bernard Baruch, who was an international statesman and diplomat. He also helped. So what am I saying? I'm saying between 1926 to 1954, Florence Williams Hospital was it for poor people, white or colored. And we we want.
Go ahead,
So
Steve.
what am I saying? In this centennial year, we're Renee and I are honoring her not just with a historical marker, which has already been paid for and already been ordered. We've already raised that money, but we've gone above and beyond that because this is our vision. The same way God gave her a vision, God has given us a vision. And that vision is to create above the marker, to create a scholarship in her name. And we're tying her name to a lady named Florine Lennon, who was with us before she passed away. And we're using her nonprofit agency called the Georgetown Diabetes Core situation. She's known throughout the county of Georgetown and South Carolina as the diabetes lady. She passed away in December. So we're moving forward. We're giving tribute to 5 high schools, and we're talking about a scholarship of $1,000 to each high school and $1,000 to the diabetes core group. Above that, there's a lot of other things that we're giving the sponsors and donors. We've already received hundreds, and in fact, today, I ran into a person who committed to $1,000, and he said, we can give you more if we need to. So we are very pleased with the turnout. But that is the story of Florence Williams. In this centennial year, let us never forget a Black woman, 2 Black women, Florine Lennon and Florence Williams, who we are honoring because the scripture says, A labor is worthy of his her labor, and we're moving forward with it. I'm going to let you pick it up there, Renee.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. And thank you for recognizing Florine Lennon. Florine is my aunt. And she started the diabetes core group. And when I approached Steve with this idea, um, it was through finding out about Florence Williams through my son-in-law, which Florence Williams is his great great grandmother. But when I approached Steve with this, Steve was happy to take on this project with me because he had an interest in Florence Williams also. Steve had already written several pieces about Florence Williams when I didn't even know anything about Florence Williams. But when I approached my Aunt Florine about this, she was very excited. And I got with Steve, and we started this since last August. We have come a long ways, y'all. We got it approved through the state. Florence Williams will be recognized statewide. Her hospital will be. And in the process of talking to Steve, we walked through that process of petitioning the state to have this approved. And we got that done. And like he said, we have raised the funds to where the monument now has been paid for. We still have other things that we're working on. We're going into the program and the banquet part. It will be a full program where Florence Williams' story will be presented to the community. But we're also planning a banquet with this. And like he said, there is 5 high schools, there are 4 high schools and 1 adult school that we are planning on giving. He said 1,000, but we're saying at least 1,000, because the more we raise, we may be able to up those scholarship values. And that's basically what we're working on. It's a journey. It has been a journey. Like you said, we've had several people who have donated, and now we're in that process where there are people who are making pledges to donate. And we have 3 ways to donate. We have the Cash App, we have the Zelle, and we have the GoFundMe. And those things are scrolling across the bottom. The information for that is scrolling across the bottom of the stream. You know what I wanted to touch on to also, Steve? A little bit
Yes,
more
ma'am.
of Florence history. When we get to that, the part when she died,
Yes,
her body is buried there in Georgetown.
yes, it is.
And it was Bethel AME Church. And the pastor at that time was Reverend A.T. Fisher. And if you guys remember Manigoat Funeral Home, all of that's history. Because Manigoat Funeral Home is not even in Georgetown anymore. But I'm going to let Steve take over that and talk a little bit about that. And then I will go into the part of the levels in which people could donate.
Well, thank you. Once again, when you talk about Florence Williams, we're talking about a woman who was extremely selfless. We're talking about a woman, and we're always talking about the great men achievements that men did in Georgetown. I've written several, as many as 25. Georgetown has been noted for the first Black congressman, the first person that Harriet Tubman rescued on the famed railroad, the first person or one of the founders of the NAACP, a man who's named Philip Washington, who did a lot to build a self-sufficient community right after or during the Reconstruction period. So Georgetown is noted for its first. But there are very few women who are noted. There are some. Some of you have heard of Miss Ruby's because she was nationally lauded by President Bush for having a one-room school of children, and almost every one of them during segregation went to college and did great things. And then there's so many others, but there are very few women. And when I discovered some of the things that Florence Williams did, it piqued my interest, and I went and I dug a little bit deeper. And again, there's no relationship. Florence Williams is buried in the same church that my parents grew up in. It's Bethel. And matter of fact, I was telling my daughter today that I will be, when it's not so hot, walking through that cemetery to see if we can actually get a picture of the grave marker. But more importantly, what she did a century ago, when we didn't have any options, when we were poor and almost helpless, God sent Florence Williams as a ram in the bush. And again, as I said earlier, she did medical care and several other things, but she left her mark. And we just want people in Georgetown and South Carolina to know the caliber of person that she was. And it is a pleasure to hitch her wagon to another person who we just lost 6 or 7 months ago, Florine Lennon, another drum major for Georgetown. And if you're not in Georgetown and you say, well, what does that matter to me? It matters for two reasons. One, you're probably connected to the Georgetown of Florence Williams, and you probably, like me, you love uncovering unsung heroes that have done things, because we, the people, were not included in the Constitution. And we just finished the 250th anniversary of our nation. And I've spoken at least 4 or 5 times. That phrase, we the people, did not include blacks, it did not include immigrants, did not include Asians, did not include Latinos, did not include women. But we were included in the phrase, a more perfect union, because the Constitution was written so it's breathable, that we can grow. But best be sure, blacks were not considered humans. We were considered property. 98% of the founding fathers owned property. And so we were not included. In order for us to be in a more perfect union, we had to fight with our blood, sweat, and tears to get what we get. But all along, God was with many of us. And so I don't know if God knew that the Depression was coming in 1925. It came in 24, but God had already repaired the ram in the bush named Florence Williams to say, I'm going to help you, because that's what we've done, not just in Georgetown, but all over this country. It is our story. If we do not tell our stories to our kids, they will not know it. They watch a lot of things that has been changed and been edited. And I'm not going to mention you know who, but you can see what he's trying to do. It is up to us to do it. It is up to us to do it. So this is just a hero that we are celebrating. And like Renee and I have said, it's not a money thing. Yes, we're gonna raise the money because we're walking by faith and not by sight. And God has already opened so many doors. Now, I have a lot of people that I've been working with. Many of them have money. Many of the organization, churches, hospitals, Brook Green Gardens, Pop Called Barony. I've been working with these organizations for at least 20 years now. And I'm proud to say that many of them are my friends. And when I'm calling out on, they want to help. And what I'm doing now, Renee, and I have not even shared this with you. I'm telling some of the big donors, the big sponsors, when I say big, I'm talking about 250, 500, and 1,000 and above. I'm telling them that we're going to match them. We're going to match them. So if they say we can give you 250, we will put the other 250 in. If they say we can give you 500, we will match that, because that is
We
the
gonna
quickest
raise
way to
it.
get to our target. Yes. And so we've got a few more months, but right now we got to get it done. And we have to start. The journey of 1,000 miles is in the first step. Well, we're on the fourth or fifth step right now. And you're going to be hearing a lot more. And I want you, before I be quiet, I want you to know that we're going to be sending a lot of information on our website, which we're very proud of, and some booklets or what we call newsletters. And Renee will talk to you about that. But if you can help us on this journey, if you're not in Georgetown, help us on this journey to get to this mark, and God will bless you because you are doing something great. And again, I heard one person said, I'd rather do something great and fail than do nothing at all and succeed. What you're doing is great. I don't care if it's $10 or $50 or $100. It is great. Okay, Renee?
I know that's right, Stephen. That's what we're working on. And I challenge each and every one of my friends out there. And I know it's Friday evening and we're off schedule. We were supposed to be here yesterday. But I want y'all to share this with everybody that y'all know out there. And not just now. This is going to stay up. This is going to be here. You're going to be able to see it on Facebook and you're going to be able to see it on YouTube. And we don't care if it's $1 because everybody give $1, those dollars add up. We would like to have the bigger dollars, but if all you can give is $1, we're going to take that too. We're turning nothing away. And with this, when Steve talked about me putting together the levels of it, guys, the legacy worth honoring, a legacy worth preserving, Florence Williams. And we are honoring the life and impact of Florence Williams through a commemorative book. Those pictures that y'all see flowing across there, this is actually going to be a commemorative book. That's the tongue twister to me. Commemorative book. The scholarships, the historical presentation of the monument, and the installation of it. All of that is going to be in here. And your sponsorship helps preserve the history, honoring the life of service, and inspiring future generations. Not only are we providing scholarships, but these scholarships will go to young people who are interested in the health field. We're going to help them move forward with their dreams and their purpose. And in saying this, Steve, we're just starting this, but this is going to be an annual thing where we are hoping to be able to continue the scholarships year after year to these students.
Absolutely. Yes.
But the Patreon list starts with $25, y'all, and that's where you get your name listed in the commemorative book, and you will get a poster of Florence Williams. Then when we go to the $50, that's friends and business tribute. You may want to purchase that in honor of someone or to celebrate someone. And with that one, you get your name listed in the program and in that commemorative book. But if you have a business, your business cards will be added to the swag bag and you will get that commemorative poster. The $100, which is the bronze supporter, get a quarter-page ad in the commemorative book. Your business card and flyers are added to the swag bag. Your name listed in the program, and you get one commemorative swag bag and one commemorative poster. The half page, it goes in the commemorative book. Your business card and flyers, your name listed in the program, your name that's in the commemorative book, the swag bag, and a poster. Now from $200, $250, all the way up to $1,000, all those things are included. But in that $250, you get 2 tickets to the banquet also. And the $500 add all those things, but you get 4 tickets to the banquet. And it's crystallized. I don't know what to call it, Steve.
Well, I call a keepsake, a crystallized keepsake. And,
Yeah, with
and
actually Florence Williams and her house on the inside of it. And that's under the $500. And then the 1,000 is the same, with the exception of you get 8 tickets and 2 customized bags. Now from 250 all the way up to 1,000. When we talk about the customized bags, those bags are actually made of canvas, and it has Florence Williams' story on the outside of the bag. Go back in, yeah, right here. This is what we're talking about right now. Now, can it go to that full size page? The next page? No. The page after, no, you go in the wrong direction. The next page. This is full size. Your business, a dedication, or whatever you want to do for that, that's $1,000 for that full size page. But you get all of those things listed with that $1,000. The next page is your $500. That's a half page. Minus the minus 4 tickets. You get 4 instead of 8. That's what the half page will look like. Give me the quarter page, Kenny. This is what your quarter page look like for $100. And then your $50 page looks like that. And we'll be sending out more information. Make sure you guys subscribe to our website, because that's where we'll be putting a lot of information. And Steve, what's the website? Is it the Florence Williams?
yes, it's the FlorenceWilliamsHospital.com. Now, not the word the, FlorenceWilliamsHospital.com. I believe that's it. And on there's a couple of videos that you must see, because it's actual videos of how this whole concept with her started. Videos that I did literally 10, 11 years ago. And above that, you'll see some other interesting things about Florence Williams and the initiative. There's a couple of people who was living during the period that Florence Williams lived here on Earth, and they testified to her hospital and all of the great things that happened, from the operations to the people who came into the hospital when no one else gave them an opportunity to get sick. And you have to understand that Georgetown is a small town. And so if you got seriously sick and you needed a hospital, you'd have to go to Charleston or Florence. Charleston is 60 miles away. Florence is 70 miles away. But Florence Williams Hospital was there for us when no other hospital would accept us. And because we didn't have the money. Also, Georgetown didn't have a hospital at the time for whites or blacks. And so the community chipped in during the Great Depression. And she, again, was God sent. And she helped not only the students at the nearby Howard High School, but she trained young nurses that went to prominent schools like Meharry Medical School in Tennessee and the Good Samaritan School in Columbia. And as I said, she helped the CCC workers during the Roosevelt administration when they got sick, building the roads and bridges. Florence Williams did all of that. And a secret is that there were many whites who had their babies and got care for in her hospital, because Florence never turned anyone away. But several of them, not several, but a few of them said, don't you tell anybody that I was there and that you got help. But those who knew, they knew. And so you have Brook Green Gardens. You have a lady by the name of Ann Huntington and her husband, Arthur Huntington. And Brook Green Garden is known all over South Carolina and all over America, and maybe beyond that. She said, if I see you doing good, I will help you. She was very private with her donations, but the word has gotten out that there's a wonderful hospital and she's taking care of the poor. The scripture says, I was hungry and you fed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. And some said, Lord, when? When did you do that? He said, when you've done it unto the least of me, you've done it unto me. We have to know how we got over. We have to do more than just sing about it. We have to know what it was like to live 100 years ago for us. Florence Williams was in the gap. And so we should not forget her. And I can tell you, because my folks were born and raised here in Georgetown, she is still an unsung hero. I am stupefied by how many people, some of them my age, had never heard of what she did. Okay, this is during the 30s and 40s when we were poor and didn't have a thing. And most of us had to leave to go up north. But Florence Williams was a ram in the bush for God and for our community. And so we're going to celebrate her because the vision was given to Renee and I. And I have been trying to do this for 10 years now, more than 10 years, since 2008. And when Renee contacted me, I said, this was the hand of God. And we're going to do it. And we're getting a lot of help from a lot of people. And no donation is too small. But believe me, as we get closer to that great getting up morning, to that blessed day, when the marker comes and we're going to invite everybody. Oh, what a time is going to be. We're going to invite everybody to know the greatness of what Florence Williams and Florine Lennon did. Florine Lennon is known as the diabetes lady who championed our community and our county for many, many years before she succumbed last December. But we are honoring her name with this diabetes corps, and we have to champion our heroes. If you're like me, you know about the men. You know about Joseph Haynes Rainey. You know about the NAACP founder. You know about Harriet Tubman and James Foley. But you don't know about what Florence Williams did. God helped Florence Williams open up doors for Black people. Between 1925 and 1954, she was the only hospital in Georgetown for Blacks or white. So we're going to champion it. This is not a race thing. It doesn't matter what your denomination is, what your religion or your color is. God has no respect of color. But when God's give us something to do, you have to move on it. And you got to be like, you don't be like Moses. When God said, Moses, do this, he said, I'm not worthy of this. I can't do it. Somebody else, God said, I will equip you to do it. He has provisions for his vision. And his vision is for us to know how we got over. And so Florine Lennon's organization, the Diabetes Corps, is happy to help us. Several churches and several people, because we asked them, they said, yes, I will be glad to help you do this. And so as we get closer, because we're in the manufacturing phase, the manufacturer is in Ohio. Again, it's already been paid for, but they're backlogged. So sometime this fall, we're going to have a big homecoming of where the Florence Williams Hospital was. And we're having a banquet and we're having several other things. So hitch your wagon to this because you're going to be hearing a great deal about it. And we are so appreciative. We are so appreciative of the least that you give us. If you cannot afford 100, 200, 400, 500, it's okay. Every little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Thank you. Renee, go right ahead.
Ooh, Steve took us to church. Oh, that's all I gotta say right there. But this, I'm trying to get it. This is what we're showing on the stream. Tell me which direction I need to go, guys. Um, this is the front of the commemorative book, and the stuff that you see on the stream, that's a part of it. But there is more. This is just the promotional part. Steve still have pictures. We're still waiting on pictures from some of Miss Florence Williams' relatives, so that we could continue to build this book. But once you get this, you're gonna have some history that haven't been told. As I talk to my friends, Steve, I tell them about Florence Williams because it was never taught to us since high school. Just like you said, plenty of people down there don't know about her. But at the same time, everybody knew about Florence Nightingale. And their
Yes.
lives married each other to the T. And when we
Yes,
hear
they did.
about Florence Nightingale, when we hear about her, you know, she have all these accolades: the ship, the plane, the movies, the coins, the stamps, and those are just a few things to be mentioned. And the thing that came to my surprise, just working with Steve, Florence Nightingale never lived in this country. And we have Florence Nightingale right here in my hometown, Georgetown, South Carolina. And as
Preach.
we go back and ask people, very few people know little about her. Go ahead, Steve.
No, you're doing a good job because they say if we knew better, we could do better. But some of us know
Mm-hmm.
our history, and we're still not doing better. We think that you have to be a celebrity. We could Renee and I could bring celebrities to Georgetown. Les Brown was one of my closest friends, and there are some other people. You know what? It would cost us between 5, 10, 15, $25,000 to get these people here. This is a grassroots thing. God has put it on my heart and Renee's heart, and we should be able to take care of our own, especially in this political climate. Okay? And you will be blessed. It's impossible. When I say impossible, impossible to give something from the altruism of your heart to the benevolence of your heart without getting a return. The universe is an exact science. What you give, it will come back. If you give out bad, bad is coming back, baby. And if you get out good, good is coming back. So don't feel that, well, that's their story. Every city has heroes, but Georgetown has a plethora of heroes. And I won't go deep into it because I'm a historian, but I can name several. I already told you about um, James Bowley and Harriet Tubman, but I can, the first person that helped create the NAACP was from Georgetown. The first black congressman was from Georgetown. We have a lot of heroes there. But what about the women? What have the women done? Because God has no respect of persons. God told Florence Williams, if you put me first, you must always put me first, and I will help you do it. She opened up a medical facility when we didn't have any. And I don't know about you, but that warms my heart to know that God had a ram in the bush by the name of Florence Williams. No relation to me, but she helped us. We sing so much in the church, how I got over. Well, we have to recognize some people. So there's no donation too small. There really isn't. $10, $25, $50. It all helps. You will be included. We got a plaque. We've got some other things coming to you. We got a gift bag. We got a great deal. Go on our website,
See, don't tell them
which
all
is
yet. Don't tell them all yet. Let them go to the
okay.
website. We can't give them all. We can't tell them
well, we're,
all.
well, we're adding a whole lot. But I don't want it, Renee. I don't want anybody to think, well, that's just a Georgetown thing. That's just a South Carolina thing, and
Oh,
and
I
uh, I
got
got my
something on
own
that,
thing. No,
Kenny. Bring me back in the frame. Don't take Steve out. Steve, I got something on that.
go
Now,
for it.
see,
Go
it
for it.
ain't just a Georgetown thing. You touched on it and said that you don't want to talk about the other man, right? But see, I tell my people all the time, listen, we can sit down, we can play, we can whine, we could cuss, and we could fuss, or we could make a difference. While he's over there tearing down, we're over here building up. And I definitely got that from my Aunt Flo, okay? Because that's the type of person she was. She said, we can sit down and cry ourselves a river tear, but ain't nobody going to drown in it but us.
There you go. That's it.
So once when we come together, we are people of power. And this is
Absolutely.
only the beginning. And it's not for recognition. It's not for pocket money. It's not to say, oh, look at me and what I do. No, it's about us coming together and teaching our children our history. Because when I found out about Florence Williams, like I said, her great great grandson is my son in law. My daughter has children for him, okay? So what we're doing is bringing our grandchildren legacy to light. This is going to be something that they're going to be able to learn about and move forward with and know that that was part of their legacies. When we talk to even grown family members, they're grown. And when you ask the average family, how far can they, from my generation, how far can they go back into their forefathers? Somebody will tell you, well, I remember my grandmother and my grandfather. I can't tell you their names. Or I can't tell you who my great grandparents' names were. So this is just not about Florence. It's getting us fired up to get people to understand how important our history is and help them to dig deeper into their families so they can know their lineage and where they came from. So for me, it's much bigger than that, Steve.
Oh, I'm with you. I am with you. Um, Somebody said it's a poor frog that doesn't, a poor bird that does not trim his own feathers. If we don't talk about our story, then it won't be talked about or it won't be accurately talked about. There are a lot of unsung heroes. One of the poems, I'm a writer, one of the poems I wrote many, many years ago is called Unsung Hero. And Florence Williams is one of the unsung heroes. Georgetown has a great many unsung heroes. But what happens is these older generations die down, and we don't know that. And the Bible says if we knew better, we would do better. And so we're bringing this history to our people. And what Florence Williams has done, I am too proud of it because it's a spiritual thing for us. And you also have to understand that we're going to leave a monument, we're going to leave a legacy. If you can, go on www.florencewilliams.com. I'm sorry, florencewilliamshospital.com. And you see a couple of great videos of who Florence Williams was and what she did. And you'll see a couple of other things there. And we're going to be adding to that even more. So that is our new website. Again, www.florencewilliamshospital.com, not the florencewilliamshospital.com. And we have more media coming, more pictures and more books. And Renee and I are working hard and diligently and smart. And there's a lot of major organizations that we're looking at, from the hospital system, from the school system, from the religious system. We are introducing to some and educating others about a great woman by the name of Florence Williams, who helped our community when we needed it most. Let's just be Judgment Day honest. Most of us during the Great Depression struggled. That's why we left the South, because we couldn't find work, we couldn't feed our children. But God always has a ram in the bush, and Florence Williams was a ram in the bush. So we just want to honor her. I do not get a nickel, and neither does Renee. We have put our own money in here. Lord knows we have. And
Tell
I'm
about it.
happy to do a lot more because the Bible says a laborer is worthy of their work. And we should recognize Florence Williams. I'm proud of her. Georgetown has a lot of heroes, but most of them are men. You've heard of Joseph Haynes Rainey. You've heard of, well, maybe you're not. One of the founding of the NAACP was from Georgetown. This is a small place, but it was a strong concentration of Africans that came directly here. So
Yeah, McKinney. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I'm okay. So what all we're doing is we have to honor. The scripture said a prophet has no honor in his or her own land. We're honoring this great woman, and we need your help.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. It is going to happen. So
Oh,
don't feel
we
that
ain't sweating that part. God is going to give an overflow. It's going to be an
yeah.
overflow. And not only that, Steve, when you say Georgetown was small, yes, Georgetown was small, but you know what?
What?
Georgetown ain't small if you bring all the folks back that moved up north. You know
This
what
is
I'm saying?
true. This is true.
Because
Yeah.
everybody, the folks that went from nearer up north, I was born in Rochester.
Okay.
And Georgetown, the town itself may be small, but when you start reaching, going down that family, that bloodline,
Yes.
you can put all the people who have roots there back in Little Georgetown if everybody was to come back.
Now you know you're preaching to the choir. I've written 4 books on Georgetown. I know the greatness of Georgetown, but I'm
I just
talking
wanted to
about the
put that
greatness
out
of
there,
Florence
you
Williams.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm glad you actually said that, Renee, because I don't feel bad about the other people I have championed from Georgetown, from James Bowley, first person Harriet Tubman Freed. You hear me? Not the first, the first, not the second, but the
Uh-huh.
first person Harriet Tubman Freed. I have written a
Uh-huh.
great deal about Joseph Haynes Rainey, our first black congressman. I have written about uh, Albert Sinclair, one of the founding members of the NAACP. I've written about Miss Ruby, who was recognized nationally by President First Bush for working in a one-room place and educating well students in this one-room house or place. I've written about so many heroes in Georgetown, but when I did my first book, I realized that I didn't have enough women heroes. And so I
Uh-huh.
started asking around, and people gave me several names. Florine Lennon was one of them. She's known throughout the county and the state of Georgetown as the diabetes
Uh-huh.
ladies because she helped us with that. And Florence Williams was
Right.
another one. Michelle Obama has roots here. She was another one.
Yes.
I can go on and on and on about the great people that came out of Georgetown. However,
Yes.
there are a few who are unsung heroes. And if God has put it on Renee and my heart to recognize something, because the Bible said a laborer is worthy of their recognition of their work. That's all we're doing. We don't get a penny for this, but we want to help tell people what greatness we came up through. And so don't get me started preaching because I know how great Georgetown is. I know it. And but even greater than Georgetown is God. And I know what the
Yes.
scripture says. When you've done it unto me, you've done it unto the least of them. You might look at
That
us and say,
part.
look at this gray hair old man. He's just begging for money. No, we have to give. It's the blessing that's in the giving. And we don't have to say, well, I don't have $100. I don't have $500. That's okay. You give what you can. And on that grade getting up day, when that marker is unveiled, we're going to invite you. It's going to be broadcast. We're going to have videos. We're going to have a lot of people. And you can say, I helped. I gave 10. I gave 25. I helped. You will get a booklet. You will get some other thing. But God pulls something in your heart. It's in your heart because you can't take it with you. None of us can take anything material with us to the next phase of life. But you can know I tried to help somebody. That's what Dr. King did. I don't know if you know this, but Dr. King died poor and penniless. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. He says, I didn't want to leave anything to anybody because I want to, like I said, I'm just going to let it go until God takes me. And I'm not, he knew that he couldn't take it with him. But of course, there are people that helped his wife and helped Dr. King. But Dr. King didn't save any money for himself. That's what God wants. He wants us to just do it all from the benevolence of our heart. And it's impossible for you to bless somebody else and not get blessed in return. Now, if you're the kind of person that, well, I give my tithes and I go to church, that's fine. But we serve a great God, and his God is greater than your church, it's greater than your family, it's greater than your race, it's greater than your community, and you will be blessed exponentially. Why? Because you're helping other people, not just Florence Wheatons, but anybody else. The more you give, the more comes back to you. And giving is not just money, giving is time, giving is
Tell
love.
me about it.
All right? That's what it is. And I'm not going to preach for too long, but we appreciate Renee and I when you tune in and when you say, yes, I'm going to tune in for this Zoom or this podcast. And I want you to keep us abreast of what's going on because I'm with you, Brother Steve. I'm with you, Sister Renee. I may not have folks in Georgetown, but I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing. And so help us if you can, and God will bless you in many ways. Go ahead, Renee.
And not only that, Steve, you said something, and anybody who wants to reach one of these levels, let's say $25, but you don't have $25. Um, you might be able to give $5 this week, another five 2 weeks down the road, however you choose to do it, because we keep records. Everything that comes in, we write it down from who and how much at that moment. So at the end, when this stuff goes in the book, everybody's going to be recognized. No one's going to be left out. If they gave $1, then they ain't going to be in that book. If they gave $1,000, then they ain't going to be in that book. And that's really what we're working on. As Steve said, they may say we begging. Well, I'm gonna beg until it's done. I will be Keith Sweat. I'll turn into Keith Sweat about the money. They say Keith Sweat is a begging man, but I'll be Keith Sweat about them dollars, okay? Because this is something that God gave to me. And when I went and approached Steve, Steve has heard this many times. A friend of mine gave me Steve's number. And I had Steve's phone number for a whole year, y'all, before I called him. Because I saw a lot of work that he did. And I was like, that man don't know me. He's too busy. I called him a year later. And his phone rang and he didn't answer. And I left a message. And I was like, yes. Whew, I'm out of that. So before I could hang up, he was calling me back. I was like, doggone it. But one thing I will say about I know that Steve have been sent to me. I've been guided to Steve by God because he's one of the most easiest person there is to work with. And I really do appreciate that in you, Steve. And
Right back at you.
right there across the bottom of the stream, those are people who have donated already. We don't say how much they gave because some gave a little and some gave big, and we just appreciate everybody who did, and just keep it coming because we want to add y'all names to that list. We want to keep it moving.
Renee,
And
there's an
that's
old
all I got to
saying.
say about that. Huh?
There's an old saying. By the yard, it is hard, but inch by inch, anything's a cinch. By the yard is hard,
Yes.
but every little bit will help us get to our goal. And we are about
Yes.
we're about 1/8, maybe 1/7 towards our goal. But we don't plant something and keep in the ground and keep pulling it up out of the ground to see how well it is growing. We we go by faith and not by sight. And as long as we plant the seed, and the seed has been planted in our heart, and Renee's heart and my heart, because God has no respect of person. I had never met Renee, but the same thing God was putting in my spirit, it was putting in her spirit. And so as we planted the seed, and we didn't keep pulling it up to see how well it was growing, but it began to sprout. You hear me? And how do we know that? We know that because people have begun to hear about this and said, you know what? I want to help.
Mm-hmm.
You've done great things, and I didn't know about Florence Williams. I didn't know that she helped train young nurses. I didn't know that she took sick in during Jim Crow, where we couldn't go in a hospital. I did not know that white and black doctors operated in a hospital. I did not know that she helped the city of Georgetown and some of the churches. So knowledge is power. But the thing about it, this is not us. This is the vision of that God has given us, and he will give us the provisions. I don't look down on anybody that says, well, I don't want to be a part of that. That's your choice. But if you feel the spirit moving in you, that you know this is the worthy cause, please help us because it's going to be done. But we're doing it by faith and by God, and it's happening already. I'm doing radio broadcasts, and I'm doing just like I'm doing now podcasts and Zoomcasts, and the word is spreading out, and we're getting there. I also would like the audience that I'm speaking to go on to www.florencewilliamshospital.com and look at the wonderful video that we did literally 10 years ago with a very good friend of mine by the name of Daryl um, Thomas. And you get a better idea of who Florence Williams was and what Florence Williams did. You'll also see some other visual stuff, and we're going to keep adding to that. That's why we have the website. So a picture is worth 1,000 words, but this is a spiritual vision. This is something that I have to go forth, not out of my own um, self opinion, but God has planted that seed and it's already growing. Don't wait till you see a big tree or a flower to say, oh, I was with you. You can jump in right now and help us water this and sunshine it and watch it grow. And we are seeing it grow. It grows in under the ground before it grows above the ground. And don't think that any contribution is too small, because it's not. Now, if you want to know more about me, my name is Steve Williams. I'm all over, what do you call it? The internet and Amazon.com, several of my books. But today we're talking about Florence Williams because all I've done for the last 25, 35 years is talk about the greatness of our people and what we did to get over. We love to sing How I Got Over, but half of us don't know the story of how we got over. It's not Joseph Haynes Rainey. It's not Florence Williams. It's God. God will help us, but we have to recognize who's helping us. And the same God that's helping us is helping you. It's a spiritual thing. Don't think it's intellectual of those who are educated. I've got more degrees than I need, but I listen to the still small voice of God telling me what directions to go. And when Renee called me, I said, this is God. This is God, because her spirit is humble and she just wants to do God's work. She wants to honor a woman that needs to be honored. And she didn't know that the same spirit was talking to me. So we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Renee, I'm gonna shut up now.
Steve, before we close out, listen, before we close out, I want to thank you for all that you do. And I want to point one more thing out. If there's anyone who wants to donate or are willing to donate and you need a tax receipt, we can provide that for you. We can give you a tax receipt, so we want to throw that out there too. And I just look forward in moving forward, and as we make progress, Steve and we will be coming back. I want to thank my brother Kenny, who's in the background. I thank you,
Ken.
Steve, for making yourself available this evening, because this is something that we will be doing on Thursday. And I think we lost a lot of people today because it's Friday. Friday people get paid. They with the kids. They going out there doing things. So on Thursdays, the next time we get ready to go live is to be announced, but it will be on Thursdays, and we'll just go from there. Hey Artavia, how are you? Actually, it's Artavia's husband, that Florence Williams' great granddaughter, that just popped in here. And I don't know which one of these things she's on, but I'm saying hi to her. She can see me. I can't see her. Um, because we're on Facebook and YouTube. And guys, y'all can share this video out, invite people to see it. We're not going to take it down. It's going to be up, and we're going to leave it here because we need y'all help. And if You're in a situation where you can't get one brown penny. Send it to your friend and let your friend know about it because they may be able to. Your friend may be able to help you. I don't know. But we know we're going to make it happen. And like I said, I will be James Brown and Keith Sweat. Please, 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 please. Because we're going to make it happen. We already got Steve, I think we overcame the most difficult part. And
Yes,
that was the money for the monument. We got that done, guys. Now
quickly
we
too.
just moving forward.
Renee, tell them
That's all.
about the website because a lot more can be done by looking at the website.
The website is www. Reese, type that in the comment for me wherever you are. www.florencewilliamshospital.com. We will. I need y'all to follow us. Go and subscribe to that website. It don't cost you nothing to subscribe to that website. It's going to give you the updates in real time as we continue to add stuff to that website. And that's going to give you a lot of information because we will not be going live on YouTube and Facebook every day. But as we start getting closer and closer to this thing, because Steve, that's what I want to do next. Create, one of those money chart with like
Yeah,
who was
yeah,
it? Those big organizations where they show what has been raised so far
that's right. What level they
until we
are?
get
You
to the
sure?
goal. Yes. So yeah,
Okay.
and we will have that in the website, and I'll put that on social media too. I wanted to do this. We wanted to do this part before I put that fundraiser chart out. And now I will go and post that to all of my social media pages also. So
Right.
I'm done. If there's anything else you got to say, Steve, before we close.
Well, I just wanted to know if Ken has the website. Does he have an image of the website? Um, or if not, we'll have to give it the next time.
I see he has the website listing down there. Yeah, we could get together on that and figure that part out. And I just want to thank everybody who took their time out, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook. I think he got it on Instagram. I'm not sure. But anybody who took time out this evening to join us. This week has been a rough and a long week. We've had some things that happened, but we got through them. And we'll be back very soon, just to keep you guys updated. And with that being said, Steve, don't drop it yet. Wait until he
Say
get all the way done, and then we'll talk. Go ahead, Kenny. Anything else, Steve?
no, that's enough. Just we thank God for the vision, and we thank the God for the progress that we have made.
Yes.
Doors have been opened up, not because of me, not because of Renee, but this is a mission that the hand of God is in. The Bible
The
said a
thing is,
prophet
when
has no
God
honor
give it
in his,
to
in
us,
his land. Yeah.
Steve, when God give it to us, anything He give me to do, I always say, God, give me the people I need and not the people I want, and to
Yes.
help me to stay humble and to operate in. And thank you for giving me the spirit of obedience and help me to remain humble in all things I do. Amen. That's my everyday prayer in all things that I
All right, girl. All right.
do. That's
Well,
it.
I'm good.
So with that being said, anything else, Steve?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I can you want to run it out? Love you guys. Thank y'all for
We here to
coming
talk
in.
about it, yes, we about to talk about it. Grandma Polly's here, by golly, yeah, the conversation started in our community. Come through, have a chat with me, laugh, talk, grow, work together, yep, and then we'll see. Spend a little time, I'll be with the beer, carry tie truck, the gal be me. Warrior for my community, sit on down, let's have a chat.